Very good. Hello, and welcome to the U-Turn show. We do spotlight inspiring work of women, youth who are transforming their communities. We do conduct interviews, discussion, and storytelling to celebrate the resilience, strength, and vision of those driving change at home and abroad. If you're new to the U Turn, this is a platform where we use stories to empower individuals, to inspire change. And today we were planning to interview Tricia Kay, a counseling professional at Metamorphose Counseling organization. She's the CEO, but unfortunately, she could not make it. So we will go ahead and talk about mental health, especially for the newcomers. Today, we are here with my co-host, Akwal Philip and Adi Charlier. Thank you so much for making the time to be here today. I will ask you a few questions, but before we go into it, we do know newcomers into any country, including Canada, especially women and youth, navigating major life transitions, um, can experience stress that come from lack of access to support. They experience challenges such as culture shock, financial stress, and shifting family roles. And when I say shifting family roles, you go from being a child in your family to being the provider for your entire family. This episode will we will talk about practical strategies to manage stress, build resilience, and find a sense of belonging in your new home or new country, depending whether you're in Kenya, Uganda, Australia, Canada, or UK, wherever you are away from your homeland. So I will start with you, Akwal. We do know that newcomers face culture shock, financial stress, and isolation. How can they take care of their mental well being, especially when professional help is not available? And while you answer this, please touch on your own personal experience, your transition story. How did you manage all that?
No, thank you so much, Alakir, and we got to Guir and Dorcas Adinyalier. Yes, mental health a big thing. I remember one band in Canada. I suffered from depression. Like I was high functioning depressed person as a student at the University of British Columbia. So non actually came and Canada through WUS scholarship, like many others who have come here to Canada through scholarship, who are a student. So when I arrived here in Alakir, I was very excited. I came here with a lot of hope, a lot of excitement that, life has changed, I have made it, and all these things, like I couldn't believe. And I came to University of British Columbia, the most beautiful campus on earth. I was like, oh my goodness, this I couldn't ask for anything better. So the first two weeks of my arrival, I was just enjoying it. A lot no culture challenge and that time there was no live. You have to videos you record where they share. I will go to the most beautiful places. There were so many orientation people whose student alumni were welcome. Life was good. But then the September, then after the August and about day 22, then the first week of September, can then go to it. And then everyone, all people onto somehow who are welcome, we can disappear. I know job with school or other life commitment. You're doomed to job. So I remain alone uh, in my own room. Now school I can live now, but you about classes. Go realize that actually this is now different jungle. Like I cannot even make good friends with other coaches, yeah, people who don't understand where I came from. So it was hard to connect with other students. But of course, who students on campus were there. They were very supportive, but everyone was busy. So I actually not many people know, but I had my own invisible battle that many people don't understand. That time in Gacheni Tangugu Ram South Sudan for Nekbaba and many of my relatives. So like everything just was crumbling. And now I need to find work because there are responsibilities that I need to meet. Right? I was struggling now financially. I'm lonely. Yeah, school a new place. There were so many things that we are going through, but because you don't even know that there was depression. There is stress, chronic stress that you go with. So I was just going through everything. Like, I had a non-tom but I didn't know that had was depression, constant migraine throughout, right? And so I went through it until one January, I was actually very depressed by high functioning depression. So I don't know, like I end up now later on, I ended up could therapy, someone to talk about mental health. I took courses on psychology about mental health. That's when I actually understand that actually there was something called depression, something called stress. But when I was going through all this, I didn't know. I was just saying, why I'm always tired. I didn't know why I'm that. Maybe I say it's a change of weather too, because I don't know. Maybe I miss people back home. Oh, maybe like I've just been finding different ways to explain why I wasn't, operating at my optimal. So that's what I would say from my own personal experience. Like a lot of the time, because when I was growing up, the concept of mental health is like có chứ nó mental health có chứ lo chả hay lo có chứ cái quan or có nó chứ cái way or something to do with witchcraft. But so I didn't the concept of mental health. $10 we click on them until now. And people talk a lot about it now and then the conversation chukulo on cannot real by now come basic. And now can and now I'm going through different transition, not transitioning to Canada, but now I'm transition to motherhood. Very different mental health space and like the sexual depression, blah blah blah. Busy, where mother, very young. There's so many things that I'm going, but now I know what I'm going through and I know where to get help. But at the time, I didn't know, and I know many newcomers, then Canada or Kojel, South Sudan, both Kenya or like Uganda or those people that are moving, they are going through stresses that sometimes they may not know, like I do know. That's how I would answer that question from my experience.
Thank you, Akwal, for sharing, using your voice. I believe like sharing your story, especially something to do with mental health, is helping other people. It's also encouraging people to speak out about their own mental health. For those who are not from a background with it, the community we worked in, we have experienced multiple displacements. And when you are in a state of survival, you don't really, you don't really reflect and think about what the toll or what the impact are on your mental health. So I can relate to Akwal in a way that coming to Canada and for the first time, you're not worried about your physical safety. You're not worried about what to eat in the morning or in the afternoon or for dinner. You're not worried about many things. Then your body is now ready to deal with all the mental health issues that has been put off because your body is dealing with a lot of survival. So that culture shock, that financial stress, you also change from being a child in a family being provided for to being the provider for the entire family. So the shift in responsibility, it's also a lot to deal with. And biggest challenge is we don't know how to conceptualize mental health. So if you don't know how to frame a problem, it's not easy to solve. So those are the issues that really affect people. And the biggest thing I would say is isolation. In the multiple displacement we've gone through, we've always been with our family. It could be from the village to Loboni. There's always a group of community there. It could be from Loboni to Kakuma. There's still a group of people there that are your own people. You know you're going through something, but you're not isolated. Now, fast forward to Canada, it's you, your computer, your room, no one else. And imagine moving from a community where you interact day to day. There's no privacy, there's no sleeping in your own room, to being alone for several days in a row. I can imagine that is a difficult transition to process. A lot of people go through this. It's I wish I can say it's unique. I wish Balwele quite through this looking around and been through this process. And even though we were prepped little bit of prepping. We were not really prepared for the reality of moving away from family and dealing with a new culture altogether, and then add school on top of that, add financial stress on top of that. So, Adich, I will ask you to answer the same question. And can you reflect on your if you've gone through displacement, what that looks like? Every culture you go into, what does integrating to that culture? What are the challenges that come with it, and how have you dealt with it?
Okay, yeah, true. Lucky Tanjabe this time. This question, that this question really come from the experience because most of us do move to new place all or one did it. So Alibagol, they pass. Okay, the other gen is always can correct Alibagol, but the journey that happened in 2013 only when you might say it was really very terrible. Imagine going to a new place that was just bush a Europe, Kuloku Kera Gaitin, Chin Mataba, Chin, like everything was just why you Matanya, Jigger it was not really easy, and especially man I ran around in Tino, Maran Tinta, no ran in Tino, you may do a padu, paying a do. Look at Jarong, put your tin on temp you do there. The day is a Libby and Michelaino, and Tinom tapping to Banyantirot, kill to be community that jam man jam wake ke chol be ke chol mental health ache something lum ke very important of kada jam tin kachin gathering ja ya kon tin le community dai ko nyi pin la ka jam ke pio be jam ko ni wara le ko yen ko bi man jan bra le blo chare kai yer pio jam jam mo tani so reflect back that journey really very tough lagu jara ko ruye rom di lagu yepe ku Tai wasaka na biyo mele kalum ki cholun ci chonye ku te ko igu you are rich ka dile bala ma jadong num ci ko ku game miati really very very dangerous and so hard to imagine work on to school in chilo kwa chin school a mech and I remember one gara on tawa pise bene ini pa me adu bala school wana we and some minute imla chol ko tu kula jeni donge yade yetu kula community ye woten ajeni donge imla chol milun le me ime adu bala bala lete acin piu ka cin ni reria na lo ben a ko le bai ke tang ba jor de lu tang le yin ben kin cin ba de ra ko le ke yin yu ibn in class de jito so really very very hard to the refugee children ku yiwara ci tembe dong ba lo tan ke a jer ayi ke jamu ke piu ke diam tu ada ke kelas ka cirin kende okay reflecting back it really very hard one of the hardest condition to attend ku aja ku de ke jawel man jamo ku don de jawa lo manage but kinye ke yara lo is that yara lo tang rom kwa chin if you look at if you look back but think by ka chin ke pia beta ba de so chin ki dong you think by kwa chin pan de beta you have to accept and stay here for a period later. So chi ko ju chi tem bi ala to me ti kurer ko ho ping ge chi ker. E ko no ti cha me ko da du a chi to ku be ko ro ban. Bera chu bi tem ko ne. Bran ala to me ti na ti ngin. Wa ko an ge sa Sudan ku tin Uganda syllabus specialist studies. E ye miskila. They will have everything. Ngu chora lo Uganda kina jile. The thing and other thing in the chat mate for 1 hour. Queen in very in very transition from South Sudan syllabus to Uganda syllabus kuja tinga hat queen ni man on cotton piseven really reja jalo nyali ba chuyi ku jana runi jalo ba ja cham chola ke kasara ya okay okay we are commitment na charo commitment on culture wo culture bu commit you go back to people not P3 note, P5 note, P6 note, because no, the thing I bent in. Just to accept it and say, okay. So every condition even bagam, you accept how you feel, but yes, and it's good to feel like that. But what young balu and go ban be can oh, man only walk along cocky, you get on little be a tune to a chicken and woman could so get you where you go to do you and I have to also primary class, but it get scholarship chan bala for high school. So ye ko you can encourage, and that's how ko bi ko temon bi ya chat bilang man the primary school that was very far from the refugee camp. Big no manage one of the way you were stress manage. Ale ben community group you a chin de lu yen because a chin de do it. Yila mai da amdu ne anong men tin ta ka chore to kana lu lo o da du nye buko chul ko ta we la chul kwan bilo but e bilo mane chana chin de yi tin ko uh, now we reflect back, every condition you think putting in. If you look back, a gone case continue bedwin. Yin can you tell me, could look because on tomorrow and pisha and you see, young balo chana go lu adapt. Uh, so in case one of a particular replay, now let ban another journey when we were going to Rwanda. Okay, this journey a issue that hard because they welcome us and it's in financial issues because you know Tamundu in the area from the resident clearing campus, they help you to get your breakfast. You can cut, you go and eat in the in the school canteen. So it's a very hard. But what I remember was a language, especially Balon in new country language, who ye yana how things are done. Chima ile bala tu ku lui shit to ko yini porna a lot of things happen, but kichuk we are on actually like you get yourself a Rwandan friend. Then when you want to shop, you go to the market together. You don't talk about your solo pen, jam on your behalf and you shop your thing. Bye bye. So create ban e bagamba kon gamra rien ira lu eta gam. Kuyong balu chane kutayan thing to come out of the manage. So that's what I can say.
Thank you so much for sharing. For those who don't understand the language, Adich went through two displacement. First, from her own home town to Uganda, and then from Uganda, she had to go to school in Rwanda. And there are different levels of struggles that come with this transition. Every time you have to leave everything and move and go to a different place, either in search of safety or in search of education. And these are the stories we have been experiencing. The culture shock are a lot, like dealing with the new syllabus altogether and then moving to a new country where you don't understand the language. It's not easy to make friends, it's not easy to navigate day to day, to find things when you don't speak the language. So that's a lot to deal with. So I will shift it back to Akwal to talk more about the awareness of mental health in the community. In some cultures, mental health isn't openly discussed. Even the fact that we're talking about this today, someone will look at it and say, oh, complete waste of time. But it is not. This is very important conversation to have. And mental health actually does, we lose people every day to mental health in different ways. And if we don't talk about them, we'll continue to lose people. So I believe this is important conversation to have. So in a culture where mental health isn't openly discussed, I feel like as women we have an advantage of being, very social, and we talk about these things in our circle. The young men and the youth not so much, and the culture is very harsh. You could be afraid to be bullied, to be called you know to feel emasculated if you talk about your mental health with your friends that might not be supportive. So for those who don't have that supportive environment to discuss with their friends, to validate their experience, because when you speak it and somebody say, yes, I understand what you're going through, it does help. How can people then recognize that they're struggling, and what are the small steps they can take to feel better when the community around them has not given them space to express how they are feeling?
No, thank you so much for that question, Alakir. And when Abid was mentioning that, there's no time in our community and mental health. We are talking about, bigger community. We're talking about South Sudanese community, like mental health. Like people are going to be from a lunch or lead community leadership or quite. But I think culture when got organized, could actually cause you challenge in our community through mental health. Like cause you challenge charity can actually more. Sometimes mental health manifests itself in different ways. Some people get withdrawn. Some people are who engage in activities that are counterproductive because you are more. Other people become cruel, like some of these crime things in our communities, everywhere we go, even here, back home, and even in East Africa countries, where young boys and girls are a lot different. They are struggling with themselves. They have so many crises that they are going through. Why didn't couldn't you think discuss it? That book on you think mental health in it could be discussed or mental health DR could be discussed, or a road because you mentioned mental health crisis and road you right now. At bill can mention what I look at 10% road fresh, but the rest 90% are not which is your kitchen tongue no, which depression no, which me no, which whatever it is your. So we don't have that, and I love that awareness, have to happen somewhere. When I was going through these challenges on Champion, Ben Canada, can in Newcomer, I didn't have a name for it, but well, can a young and can a mental health issue and like I didn't even have a name, like I didn't have a where I was going through so many things. And now the good thing is, what action do you take? When you are going through, every day, in good what exercise and nothing is changing, you don't know what is happening. Maybe you say, "I hormone food because you don't know that. Like you don't have a name." So what I did personally when I was in the middle of many things, I actually reached out to actually a young Danish young boy, and I'm jam on this, but the about who's student. So there was this SBS link Yalapin, the color route back in new color route to US. And I thought there was no conversation around Canada. And I know that we students have brought so many young men and women to Canada. Big Ben, big education then, and their stories were not out there. So I reached out to a young Danish for SBS radio. Kulaja, please, I want to know like what who students were born into, what are they doing? So I want to learn from their experience. Maybe this conversation I would have had a long time ago. You can know you ten or can know media. So I wrote a message. I needed to get that message. I put it somewhere else. Class. Anyway, I can be you, but I can be you, and I end up learning that actually SBS the radio program Australia that is like it's supposed to give information to Australian Dinka speakers. Now, Canada, so it cannot be. Now, what we don't have radio Canada, SBS Dinka communities in Canada. Well, now we have youth, and maybe any one reason that I haven't participated, I don't know, but now it's coming together. That we need to have a space where we talk about challenges and successes for who are Canada or Koto everywhere. Like this now, UTEN is now global platform. Either it's Tono, you can participate. It's linked to government independent. So I reach out to different platforms where there is conversation that is positive, that is progressive to keep me engaged. Because after 2013 war, the conversation on Facebook and become toxic. People are talking about genocide, death, and all that, and even make things worse, which is happening right now as we talk today. April, a genocide awareness month actually, and I want us to actually even use this platform and this time to really reflect about genocide and how root cause of displacement and this always having to start over again and start over again, going through multiple like shocks. In South Sudan right now, there's that conversation. There are communities that anywhere like and they have continued to displace people. So displacement now is becoming part of life. And it comes with so many challenges, right? It comes with generational, genocide. Now it's a better genocide of death. There's cultural genocide because if you displace mass, of people in that place, they now move to different cultures. They now go and become a different community. Like right now, walk out of Canada, what's better so students 100%. Some of our cultures are the rest. There have been, cultural genocide has happened, right? And we need to always reflect about some of our actions and how we are contributing to this and how we can use platform like this to really volume. So when I was going through those things in Alakir, and I also realized many people are going through it. A lot of good students, even bright, the best of the best, smart of the smart. Majority of them that they could not perform at their level at their highest potential because of this, right? Like I remember Kakuma, and I used to be a student now to UBC, and I'm struggling with C almost D. I F that, and I am stand now to doubt myself. Why did I even make it here to Canada, right? Like what happened? What has changed? So many come here with so much expectation, and then book get depression lot, and no one is there to support. Now you are struggling on your own. You cannot share into in shame. Some people become engaged in self-destruction and ended up burying all their the goodness that could have actually made difference in this world. So I really want to emphasize from my own experience. It's something that we should always talk about. And I there are so many faces managed in a well. There is that physical displacement aspect. There is life transition, right? That happened, right? From now being in, mi rir war tip chu pa do wa rir nin chu wan ko ga ko wa che na ber wa na yim rir to. Okay, you to go up now you provider in a person. Okay, into bell or relationship a baby can crisis ke. Oh, okay, education a baby crisis ke. Na chi jabe tiaga du ko jabe la be or chati ke crisis ko ka be jabe now means crisis. Like everywhere there is always crisis, and we don't normalize speaking about mental health or finding platform when ben ko support then working on that connection, then we cannot progress. I feel like có của other ka waja bien ka ja tom choli jam I feel like choli jam jam diare de fa fi wala no chol jam diare but I feel like there's power in ka jam diare and what I envision personally, other ways the ben into jam there, what action can be taken, right? I feel like the first thing every I jam it man in work be all the time on the U-turn because I jam about mental health issues, right? Social media right now has been making it worse. There's so much peer pressure on social media. That is making mental illness like social comparison like Anchala Katie filter the nyeta she look beautiful or post you are dealing with that you cannot move like you just see that like imbalance you know no more I don't know when I feel good one time when everyone is the same we were all poor you don't go on social media them and then to see who is doing better and who is doing worse but right now you go here and you see someone is doing well you just divorced the other day and someone is celebrating a very good wedding and you're oh my goodness if I get that like those things they subliminally affect people. But then now where do you confide? Now only when ranchman book by then like I change you like it. I'm ya go all along because no matter how challenges go, but I can't work I go better well be not do I trust right? Who do I trust? So I feel like the thing is let's seek professional guidance. First, right now, I don't want if not I can call about your friends or family members because I know I can't do them or block and law a lot of professional counseling, and that's why this conversation today with professional counselor would have really opened doors for this. But what in our conversation last week, can our sister Queen Ate, also professional mental health therapists. So now I know where to go. Like go to professional people who have signed, ethics like non-disclosure agreement. When I like story do kakun jurkala lay, I chiga be because I am bound by ethical conduct that you can even sue them through organization that we can represent or you can speak bad about them and your message can be heard. So yeah, going to professional counseling, right? Talking about it openly, right? I know people like Ben Life now. I condemn and put your rank Ben Life I can't do judge because it is better when I'm blue life than be brought to suicide. Like how many people die of suicide in our community every year? There are many of them. Yang ang wan ran be kara ega blue on life. Jara rurat I prefer and when jam life. In I prepare maybe when healing. So now we don't have to condemn those people. We now nothing ran can change your big back worry. Instead of condemning them, no, we now become buka bukum buku ben luka support. Na ci la ben ku ci la penyala in kwan telefon ku yo ngada. How are you? Now you start checking on them because actually what they are going through, right? So those are some of the ways. And of course, check on your family people. People back home too. Tang de how are you? Kwachi how are you different reason? Because group can be akor it's good back group kon bilwe. Wa ko to era kor bu ko ba be ayu bu group ko le na an telefon ko an ba mama la yo le ma wala an ki chimin mam ku je an ki cholu. I think she's listening to my problem. Instead, one of the better to have problem. Can ben on this side, I can absorb and take a change and I take a value. Now I have to open up with people that I love, people that love me, and share my challenges because I think there is no price in being, but you suffer inside without. So we're quite na no good china you can let it be do bit can eat or do you self destruct man by the more so that yeah, this thing or bachang one or about do things that will self destruct you. Do something small. We were talking behind the scene in like and you say small thing like going by exercise. But we ran and carbon the deed. Now I need to find oil ban and no malo. Those things I can name the deed, it makes me happy. Right now I have routine and find me I do and command my morning by going to exercise. 30 minutes, my first 30 minutes of the day and to exercise. Now I feel better. So those are some of the ways, and mental health and creating awareness, talking about openly on platform like this and inviting people bigger mental health. So in the ban and a good and thank you so much. Many people are commenting in the chat here about the time, yeah. Knowledge anyway.
Thank you, Rhoda. I feel like you say everything. I'm left speechless because I well thought out. I well you've well contextualize the conversation and why it's important today. Yet, mental health can early manifest even in your physical health. Now you chola twine. Like if you normally don't get sick every 3 months or you get sick once a year, and then you move to a new place and now you're getting sick every single month, you need to check in with your mental health. Yongoki yin chola twine. If you wake up in the morning and you don't even have desire to start your day, that is mental health issues. If you wake up in the morning and you normally eat breakfast at 10 a.m., but today you just lay in bed and you not even have desire, balaping, balacham, or you don't even have appetite. Appetite, your first meal is at 4 p.m. I think those are signs that there is something wrong somewhere mentally and it's manifesting physically. If you usually go out with people and enjoy having conversation with your friends, enjoy hanging out with them, and then you get invited and you keep turning down the invitation, you probably have something bothering you somewhere. It's time to check in with yourself. Academic performance. This is a huge thing for all the students. You come from a place where you used to be top of the school, and then suddenly, because of everything you're dealing with all together, you're not performing at the level you want to perform. You probably have some mental health issues. So personally, I've been there. I've struggled with the academic performance. Um, even it got so bad up to the point I got an academic probation. Had I taken steps early to deal with whatever was happening, maybe it would not go to that point. And we come from a place of being grateful that we've gotten a scholarship. Not everyone. There was 300 plus people applying. There's 20 people got it. I should be excited. I should be happy. I should be performing top of my class. But why am I doing this? Why am I not feeling great about myself? Why am I feeling shame about not performing well in class? So practical strategies, for example, na towards college, please go and talk to your advisor. Bala jam can advisor do? but yeah, I'm gonna program the people who deliver your program. But yeah, like the more touch points you have, and touch point are quite jam can in, but jam can madu, but jam can quite. I know there's fear that oh I'm a quella loom and Bugoria, but it's better Bugoria can still be alive, you know? Because when you bottle and suppress everything inside, it will kill you. And it's true. I quite know in mental health. In terms of personal strategies, if you don't feel like waking up in the morning, I really be having conversation with myself, negotiating from the problem from the moment I wake up. I'm like, oh no, I need to pee. My bladder is full. So once I go and use the washroom, oh, might as well just brush because I'm already here. I brush and I'm like, oh, how will it feel if I take a shower? I feel really fresh. I take a shower. Then things will start happening the moment you have your first win of the day. And win is doing something you want to do, like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, putting on clean clothes, stepping out of your bed, stepping out of your bedroom. Then you're more likely to get to continue doing things throughout the day. Go on and do your laundry. You will go down and make yourself breakfast, and it's really a mental thing, that conversation, that critical voice that is telling you you're not good enough, you're not a good person, or whatever, you have to keep responding back. Oh, that's fine, but I'm just gonna have really delicious breakfast. I'm so excited about having eggs and pancakes. Go down, have eggs and pancakes. Oh, I wonder what it's cherry are blossoming. Maybe I should go take a look. I wonder what colors are out there. So these are practical things you do every single day, and then by the end of the day, you look back and you see, oh, I have done all these steps: brush my teeth, change my clothes, done my did my bed, put away the laundry, taken eaten breakfast early in the day, gone for a walk, for a walk, done one, two, three things at work. Compare that kana kulchi in patch kujo tohaganich bas kitchen hichi rajot. That will improve your mental health, and take it one day at a time. Kakai practical strategies may not sound like much to other people that came through that, but trust me, mental health is a real issue. It's a real sickness that nachi personal hygiene to chilo affect. Then no, it's really bad, and you need to work on it. Um, Adich, I also want you to comment ba personal strategies bakalwe of dealing with mental health, especially when it's not openly discussed. Like I don't know how often each one of us sit down with friends and talk about mental health. Like, oh, yan kai, you come young in a week long or pay bang. Let's talk about it. So please go ahead.
Okay. Wow. A very good topic. Like sometimes I just realize you can go through it, until sometime when I just discuss man ka jada okay. Crown ek ni like. When I think especially to go to a new place whereby I can inche building when quite by inche maybe I know it happens good. Yeah, it happened in you in most cases. I remember last year it was really very hard. Me jare iba like iba tar kichame the man iba ni chare yito hile batar for chiche mungu bana gaka ja. Okay. Um what I can say about the strategies and colonial and manage. Okay, I remember I don't consider like like I got something. In the beginning, I actually like a joke. I don't think the queen. I tell you again. When you have a lot of things, a lot of challenges, you could na like sometimes I don't can like the man of my bank for like na ile. Actually, we have actually with it. Let's say and can feel or something and take a tackle well we are carbon we keep for what we and brother. So one of it was like journalism, like recording it down, right? Record it down, bagarping, or they call it another way. Like okay, you could do your morning pages, but I never go on it time. Okay, when I on yan kiti cost they like sometime ili bani pin for nano a lot of thought again I then it man kichiro lui bada da chawo yo hila ba lo ile again but when you get a paper so je cost je le when you get a paper wagar pin ga pin ba you nonsense ga kin bana lok no warga ko mati bigar wele ga I jal kala din che wele thing about them boy jolly jogde I gave it a try for 1 week. I never pay me a door. Oh yeah, college when I'm thinking a lot. I just take my paper, a pen, all that nonsense. Then you glue a blame, you glue and bala you but I just write it. Okay, just write it down. Can we read 3, 4 pages? And then we can and like I tawali. Kadam kucharwi. And let me tell you, kita garpin le. Chuma let me say I know a lot of work but ba jale de man gege. No can ba jaye gege even kuchido ban kwa pick. But when I get especially in the morning ba pa and I start that one. Okay, I don't know but I had you na jara gara kara ala you as if I'm trying to talk to myself. You know, Lucas, today is going to be busy. There's a lot of work, but Kibalu, the fact remains that in Kalu Charanda. So I just find in Kalu Charanda, and you have to do it. So you have to know I think you do what you can. When you get when all that come out, keep banana ben, and happen ben and you just find out ala ke garpin ano in Kalu and grow blame, Kaulu and grow encourage, Kalaga or Akaba. So in that writing, ela ya diger bene ya ndadu kai and Jim wrote of which iya dirka ge ta ya gore ya mo ben kucha pe ba karele then in the morning I can't even finish my day actually stress quite a bit because it's like at a later you have to be the chara and loyen and I real was a very important thing and now a part of my life I do it and I tell you been get that waiting can be reach out to someone because I already get like writing down is me telling it to someone already and telling it to myself. So one way and I use stress I reduce because whenever you write your thought down, everything when you flow and era lo chicken around jerky jerk even you when find yourself below reply to yourself. And were you one of the most important things that we learned that cause near a part of me. Another one sometime, to lay into a new place or no cluing but let me say lay into a new place. What I always see which I learned that you have to find a common point or a common place or let me say people that are having the same point or the same value like you. Let me say, man, we are around the Canada. If you cannot get let me say Saturdays, Kuyirania music, then you have to join a club that is about that day school. So the man below it, you will go and perform or you watch people are performing, So called winum do a and yeah. Na nyar thing to do with education, kill club that's about education in the school. Always join. So a part of your time you join and you learn and all those things. So another way. Okay, keeping it to yourself career is very hard, but when you join a community and uh, kakunyin, you have to connect and mana janjama, you have to get someone by ran you trust. That'll be your nonsense. Not that person, that friend you have. That'll be your own nonsense. They can have about that you laugh. Okay, I love you, doll. The funny or you movement and at the end, a bit dull, but I'm not point in that will give you. So that is it. So na chin friend or chirani travel ye garmin man yana sometime. Yeah. And one of the point I can tell people out there if one of the way that do help me and another one is taking a walk or balabi you make an exercise. Kiti, I remember there are some moments in life whereby I feel immediately we have a lot of work. Do we need that? But delaying Bijman Bakar or you take 20 minutes for me until okay, I need a treat him, but I do my own gym in my house for 20 or 30 minutes. But Bachalo sweat wire after some minute ben yikin the channel go to and you choke to one jet to manage. And you feel relieved, yeah. You feel relief and yeah, it keep you productive. So another way, so if you don't want to run ma run chimika kila chade kila chat. So and also along cover to community so which man ibala kanita even sometimes do tigen kanita de no yen peace of mind kumula kanda kula God love you ranyana janyari ku chi as a aku let me play this point today. Sometimes kwe Bible they actually a deal a comfort a deal everything's about comfort. So when the thing man I think yeah that is most of the people who believe in God allowed it. Wala ngale jangale nyande. Chelo le adia de. Kwa yini ni krisano yingane chunga mi choya nga blind wala acha de kile ni pyo you throw it. Ni pyo tara che gam kwa che accept the mind that ni area chulo tene. Uben tara yi po ka ni ngali kwa no eternal life. So everything is really about your mindset. Chinegam you accept it. Yes, it's like that. I'm feeling this way. Kuyena tag am chin way. So inge on your lodgman I you just feel like that because you are you when I can come and God love you. And that's why many people really go to church because you feel relief and side like that. And get your the community. Let me say one talk about man. Ko ja lo do na ti da ya ti ko ba ja ti ge di der gel tene ka lo e di re iran ben chu ti ko ja pyo mier kna war na yi do ben na da we ni sto de lu relieve on there ne ko ni ngor lu relieve me. So when we talk of the current time now kilo ndiwa kare live is going for work, going for a gym, join a community man a career education club, music club and all those things. If you cannot get that community gathering binana there thing. So there are very many ways. And another thing is that you have to accept how you feel. Man, I don't blame play. Yeah, it's a word, huh? It's a word, and I have to. It a word is like that. So I quite you be like the man. It relieve you. Yeah, you feel in most cases. Yes, that word will love. I be like the man. And you forgive yourself. So it really give you because when you keep blaming yourself, you will buy a lawyer. Kini lawyer like a yellow. Yeah, okay. But now lawyer accept you as a lawyer, and that's it. Okay, so relieve you. So to summarize my point is that I get the community to connect in, community that have the same value and passion as you. And okay, sometimes another thing is also having a routine. Man a child like you, pa mi adur betul buat. We have a routine. We time we jar and man miss the routine by me do. I'll read, I'll go for work, I'll eat at this time. I'm able to manage free time on so you find yourself at time with jar. And okay, one of the teachers said, if you are stressed up, loika kawin bin ke janan ka stress na I'm being the ramu jama stress na kulo diar pala ke stress about it. So what you do, just accept the stress and accept how you feel. So I tell you accept class, things are really relief and that's it. So summarize it. I sensitive things you can around it, just write it down. It helped me here and going and connect with people, have that friend, do program, work out and okay, most of the people most of our men community there. Especially na and kare financial thing yen ke ko ji ka ke ja adile bu ko do miol ini ni ran ti o you know what you have to provide for the family ko chen to ni yin it really very hard. Okay, does it mean I live in yin ko ba ta ke ku jot le go o baraja ko na se bin ke ran ci pinum jaman ko kwa yi jari er ge ben no, you have to take courage yeah but okay. One of my friends told me sometime, I look at the good nan you be. If you sit down and do you what you get a problem, you get any your problem you come on. What you are lay at the where you think like no kake. You know, you could be wise, but I knew people never ever got to be a thing, but could do a man, wow, could you man. So, Ano gi jijek lo ya lwala. Okay, lwala meja kata den la meja yu kata den ay le le ma tra re gi ni ga ile ra ra kuna ra me de ile pie the same way to this thing kini re wara gi with problem ta ra ni kalo ye ka ku ye ke re go ni ji pino mande but when you learn to know people then what they go through Janya deal is just like that. So you have to accept and say, yeah, now I'm broke and I will get things. So yung balo chan to get money. Yen ke bata kwa che wale yen an jang ngong le. Pran ja to ke jang ngong le. Mane cha ko le no an on social media. Nin ting marriage ga ta le. Na yiran sigro le and ke dung me. Na yiran chu no you can people really people are coming to even imagine me benan ala da du ali ko ngan ka che yan che no mo to ran che no ma jila che ba do could be sometime ako yan pressure but if you just accept yes ali ko ngan man we na ran che you man che ko li ni bu ke de be you just you scroll and you be like wow congratulations you wait for your congratulation time come on so that's it. Accepting your feeling by feeling the you feel bagam ko condition tayo tin bagam ko tan non bini we sort of thing and think about it every time. Is really reduce and yeah you so that ain't gonna summarize what I can say so far.
Thank you. Thank you, Adich. I will put your advice to work. I'm so excited. I tried the writing down, but it's difficult. Being honest with yourself is very difficult. So Kangedia Chakalwell is accepting how you feel is number one. You accept, you write it down. I am depressed, I am stressed, blah blah blah. Garbing until you cannot write anymore and throw it away. Number two is move your body. Like, I'm sorry, Chia, but get off the couch. You don't have to go outside the house. Me, ani chirja kutawa ya dia. Kulwailu in a circle on the dining table. You have to move your body. That way, your mind can slow down because if your body is not moving, your mind is racing. So, literally, moving your body is helping your mental health. Like, Jarrod, dust around the house. Do something with your hands. That way, it takes your mind off of things, and you can focus on other things. um Talking about it, Adich, I really like how you put your points. Express self-expression. Aqua mentioned that she used to listen to problem Okoichejayo and she's not expressing back. It doesn't matter if they will help you or not. You actually are expressing yourself for you. Na chakang chakalwell be whether chigi yiping, whether chigi yin kwan, whether chigi yindi, that's not your business. And I'm starting to do this more. When somebody call me to tell me problem, I will be like, hold it. Now listen to my problems. A B C D bare telephone time. I'm like, oh, that felt so good. I don't know nanchika ping. I don't know nanchik nambiki akwan. Lakini you have to get it out of your system somehow. Iba baby through moving your body, iba baby through writing it down, iba baby through explaining because naira and problem ke be nongin you are being a free mental health therapist nonke. Use them back. I have no shame. Tell them exactly how you feel, exactly what you're struggling with, and I just want to bring it back to the part of we saw a question from Machio. How can we mental health in relation to generational trauma? And in our own generation, the comparing ourselves to other people is what is bringing a lot of mental health issues. You need to look up how your own peers are doing. One time I look up the average credit card debt in Canada, 7,000. And I felt so much better because mine was not 7,000 Canadian dollars. I'm like, oh wow, people are going through it. They might be wearing a great outfit, but I don't know, maybe credit card debt is worse than mine. So I'm just gonna calm down and feel good about myself, even though I don't look as good as other people are looking, wearing the latest outfit or kachir kaka. But now they've been a generational trauma, and I want to say this with all due respect to the past generation, but they don't deal with their own issues. you would find people are having children to help them out. Man, dina ka ba where be. That is not true. Achira and being where be. Like this generation, we've understand. Man, do achieve where be. If you don't fix yourself, you actually are ruining life, man. Do because a chin ko bin japa ku yemandu jam o korbangi gar sukule when you are not even doing well for yourself. Oh, you need to do this or go nang better life when your own life is not even comparable to other parents. So that competition aliu nankok when our parents and we as women are socialized to be serving, nurturing, and then the men are socialized to provide and protect. And the biggest mental health issue we deal with as women who find ourselves in a role of providing for family is that you feel betrayed. You're like the family that was supposed to take care of me, the same family that was supposed to protect me, are not doing that. So, however much you love your family and they love you, that is a form of abuse. Bikin yo kulto ben ku juir ki yinduru kena, it's abusive. First of all, you're the one solving the problems. And then, second of all, whatever you're doing is not being acknowledged. You are being presented more problems to solve. So that reality is not easy to deal with. The how to break generational trauma is boundaries. It's not easy to do, but boundaries. Boundaries is deciding how you want to engage with them, taking back the control that I want to engage with them in this way. You could choose to just listen to their problems, but that's not going to help you. You could choose to take control of that phone conversation. Kula, hey, 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 Concoach, let me tell you something. And tell them your problems because sometimes we assume they know or sometimes we assume they don't listen. Lakini, how will they know if we don't tell them? Like, exactly. Ngakai, kawanja yini ni nake with ben. Achin wendang token yan. Wuka kawaja ayine gar contract when yini ni na when yini pen in la. So it doesn't matter we have your emergency. It doesn't matter if you trip on the stairs and break your leg. They're not gonna add more money. It doesn't matter if you get sick. Achin wukong bika joatin. The same money ake bika yenin. Explain to them that the money doesn't the emergencies ache yini yin wujuch. So emergencies can akor ke bika alwe budget into whatever you give them monthly. Chaka yin wukala kalwa yin you could mai. A chan twany beben. And twany is not something new, it's always been happening. How do you plan for that? Take a little bit of money and put it aside. That's for your sickness, for your emergency, for your paracetamol, for your kakuna kanisa. Kanisa is also another thing that is hurting people in a way. Kaja kutke kabainum, galip, all this stuff. I kaja stress out. And then their day to day does not have to constitute emergency on your part. Na achi yom chupor ti machelon ku gut. There's community. Good achi ti machelon achi kabupen beginning that night. So defining what is an emergency for yourself and an emergency for the people calling you all the time will really put that boundary. Bine this emergency is for you. It has nothing to do with me. Bakana duna chiriak ekudun. Bakana dia kuriaka calling chabiyo kulwel. Hey, I need plumbing. 500 plumbing aliu. Kene yin. A chincha ba yo ba bela yin. That bakana dia chiriak. Kachirikake. So taking control of the conversation, taking control of how things are done, because if you're just calling when there's problem and you're not calling when the planning is happening, that is not that's not a fair relationship, and that relationship need reassessment and setting of boundaries. And don't be afraid of and the man go. A big yin man go fine. It's not gonna affect your bills. You're still gonna pay your bills anyways. So I think that generational abuse that is happening with us, we could do much better at managing their expectation, at managing their understanding of what life constitutes as you person supporting them. Um, Explain things to them like every little thing like cake. Tell them everything and tell them over and over again until it clicks. Because I cheer out luel na tokuto. I as time goes by. That's how people learn. I don't know if I've answered your question, but I will let Akwal and Adich tell us how they deal with the older generation? And for your own mental health, what do you do? What do you tell them?
No, thank you, Alakir. I am reading a book one, and it's all what happened, and I'm healing myself because you know. And thank you, we're going to comment and church here to tinia pa jog ya unu pol nyuon nana guto. So many people query judge. There are many people that are commenting in the chat that are engaging with our topic today. Please share this conversation on mental health. I share on we discuss man chen door kasa de chen well. So now but you can ben jam taken seriously. You never know who is going through bad stuff now that may end up listening and find some of these strategies, how we are dealing with our problem, useful to them. So sharing this content is another way of making impact and contributing positively in our community. Last time, I need to be jamming to YouTube and TikTok and and I didn't know where they are moving their bodies is another way they are coping with mental health issues. I don't know, right? So we don't know what our people are going through, and sometimes we come out we could judge. And personally, I judge. I'm sorry and guilty. I judge people, but we don't know what people are going through because people don't even know what I'm going through. One of our speaker on the U10 on Ichola Tongoya, the comedian, even people don't know and she said that actually she go through mental illness and I think comedy the baby I like a bit motivate that or better. So that's another way. Louis heal. So there are many ways people are going through a lot of things and many ways they heal. And actually to your question, Chalaki summarize how to deal with past traumas from our parents, from our grandparents, from our uncles, aunties, and everyone before us, and how we want to prevent that from going to the future. Sometimes when and then I reflect about them and on new coach. We die, you know, can no mean to me, and I love you 3 hours, 4 hours later. What they were so life was what you back to the maximum that we are very responsible. But right now, like me, are very curious, very all over the place. You cannot put them there already doing something that right. And I just remember my childhood and his childhood and how different it is. And reading that book in Alakiri, what happened in that book is that the corruption go through stress. Sometimes they don't know, and because they cannot talk, they internalize. So a lot of us have gone through so much trauma as well. Right now, some of us have been to adulthood with childhood issues, right, from our parents. And can a child well, it's true, the expectation because life with parent and our grandparent is disrupted by civil war. So they put the hope on the children. So rather than all parents, and we grow up, cái cái là men ya yin ka ba wer be ni piolo na ja men ya ni piolo yi men mo yin ka ba pio ni piolo, like there is so much pressure that people have to do whatever it takes big parent can be so a lot of us still generation then were we want to battle that they could not fight because of whatever they went through book and fight for them. And that a mental health problem issue itself, because if you don't deliver on their expectation, it's failure. When get work alone, tell juba, nyan e mara lo, young china mara lo. La nyir na alu ko compare nyan la tia war pido mul yung hira cholia or yung hira chakwa. Ye hira o ye nyan ye ni che like there's so much competition because our parents are also a lot of expectation on us, and that pressure they were young differently. You come and along with it so that they get more money to solve problems. Can we talk about mental health issue I accrue because they cannot get the money through means. Yeah, I mean, you know, school 20, 30 years, you get degrees and you cannot even find job. And your parents are wondering why the people are working with NGOs who usually work in NGOs. Many people have lost their mind. Like you see, person Tom chat, but they are dead bodies. So there's so much expectation from past generation and so much heart that chicken work that we are even carrying that is very heavy. I give a benny and on war right now. So I'm not here two strategies. Personally, I am doing my best. I have gone through so many issues. People don't know, right? All of us are going through those issues. And can you sometimes you better think in the advocacy work I do, and Alakir is part of this. I was hosting some regional gathering the other day to talk about women's housing crisis in Canada. And when we jam can use stories can be and I feel bad. Hello, Balakir, I'm not sure people we got and you can buy it and are struggling more than us. So sometimes you could not compare can cock is the best people. We also need to compare ourselves can got our level, got up and blow us, and sometimes interview, sometimes interview. There is always someone better than you and someone worse than you. So just have grace to yourself. So I've reached to that place I've accepted that there are some things that I cannot have because I cannot, right? And there's things that I'm working to improve in my life. The thing actually my parents that can child, right? Like reaching that level of acceptance, right? But do your best. Seeing mentors. I like help, but hey, help me. Right now, I need to be helped, right? To be given some advice, to be given mentorship, to be given, social network. You know your network in your network. So personally, I reach out to people to help me on so many things. But on a personal level, like in Nigeria, generational trauma, let's not focus on what happened. Like that is the space to accept. Like what happened, challenges, before let it end there. We need to recreate our stories, right? We need to focus on what we can do going forward. How we can and now my problem is I don't want to put those expectations on my children. I don't want to let my children go through so much stress that I went that might have been detrimental in my development journey that I try my best. But there's one thing that I struggle with, and I know many of you are scared your survivor's guilt. In kind war, got to then again. Antiberium got is okay, maybe call you can end your own chin back home or got a kuma non chin will. Catch your survivor's guilt, like a and survivor's guilt is not through traumatic event, right? Man, what yeah, refugees you read Kakuma, you generally do you by you scholarship of Benagir or be by through UN program. Kayin it bent to be relatively better than Coach Dunchian. Now in Sip of Benu Jarakon chopping, right? So by a better. Kayin the idea that is better that idea, she better could you compare can got a teen in a good and a piet. You really good thing piet ke ku tong rat kan ko mo ke titi pane to Sudan ke you ni better. So what do? I can keep and where the problem where you want to ba ja solve. But the problem in the resources enough been can solve. And you get it in what and that is what is actually causing us a lot of mental health issues here, financial. Now but I'm thinking about your more pan here in good work. When the Indun chala law or rich akuma binim that kind of way chaka da pink ne ra golo ka kuma ta ine tem chu kan ben ka kuma yu ga tin ci ben la yin ka ka la den chare ngade na haye ke ne chol money ma ta ga den with high interest bin ga problem ba kum la solve because you feel that what is happening to you is worse than here. But what you don't know is you don't know that environmental is in a different. You might be in worse of position because now you homeless by it. I can pan wulen bin nothing or para and want to be nothing còn ala men tu le a homeless ka chen one day le ben and will connect me can future like you end up actually destroying your present and future here with things that back home that no different strategies, right? There are the strategies some God grace you bear, some are not God grace that is supporting. So what I'm saying that I have been struggling with that survivor's guilt, and I want all of us work out to contain Karachi, Buku Karachi atin, kuchuk tu walu trigger be what do to on the top be working. Like we need to be objective, and that is the place right now, like that I say the first trimester I got triggered by events we wrote. And they make you unsettled. And what I realized the trajectory can even be very worse because now you are dealing with issues from a different environment in a different environment, and things can go wrong in a very bad situation. So what I'm doing now is that I differentiate environment. Whatever I can, I can. What I cannot, I cannot. and I pray hard. What I do now, my midwife introduced me to some ritual. Bath tapping. So you get your Epsom salt while yachen because when you know you read sometimes and you guys it's know it. So go you need all what you to cheap. Well, okay, not a ritual, but I believe and I use that plan. But we are what with young people. We are Epsom salt, to talk about Kudi and I cheer Amazon to walk with our gospel music there, to talk and who not disconnect and social media and all the problem in the world. We meet Jakala baby of folk and Baba Day. And I take my 30 minutes of just detoxifying my brain. And it works. That is another 30 minutes in the evening of personal time, 30 minutes in the morning of personal time going to gym. Those things, they work fantastic for me. And I think many people should try them out. And maybe I don't jam a lot. I will let other people and this and also bakoy to comment can baka bear queen baka bear you but knowledge can you know.
Thank you, Akwal. Adich, if you have any strategies dealing with um, intergenerational trauma and in the day to day, like the trauma is not a one time thing. That's what we need to understand. It's kula kumiakul kumiati, how you interact with your koiditku and how that affects you negatively. That is intergenerational trauma. So how do you deal with that? And for people who've gone to school, I really want to say that it's easy to stand up to those people and say, hey, this is not working for me, or you cannot talk to me like that. So those intergenerational trauma through when we're children, there's nothing you can do. You already went through it. We grew up with the idea that children don't feel stress, but that's not the case. Children actually absorb from the age of 0 to 5, they absorb everything around them. So that will shape their developmental stage of life. Lakini, now that you're grown and these traumas and abuse are still coming at you every day, and I'm talking specifically about these kaka pressures. If you choose to go to school, every day is a fight and it's a struggle of telling people the value of going to school and justifying your decision every day to people that I want to go to school. This is why it's good. Other people look and say, "Oh, cheap yet kanin walai run kuache yela." Like, I don't know why they have so much time to talk about people age, but please respond to that, Adich.
Okay. Mm. Kage ka chaka lel bana tina ke ba bilere. The fact remain that na daman ko de ko arre jare chan bajani pi ne kulu ku jalo ne peren ko yen ke walon tin bajai bila yila ba yila arre. Ane ko authority man na man ayigi ni an kien ko no ge yi men ga de ko nyo che ko to yi ben ko ke bills ku ni ke ta bi ge ben karre jare. So in that condition ku yen the fact remain that na tuwaje ben ku down ke kilo nyol mi le bi che wo le belo do ku yin mi shela chi bu wa wo ba ga belo pen ba chi belo ku lu mental health is really organized. So ki lo nyo ji pin ku le budget, make sure that chala chi everything ben ba lo kata gondo ya jar bi bil ko ja ga jar bi chindu ata ai de pe ga chi be yero ma lat ka yen kala ka da yen ke ku le ke we kini ga ta ke ne panan jor ko lo na chi ke de ti ka chin ba lu when I got mean ben can be doing lo area. So another another auntie, I know there's a post I got on Facebook sometime back now I used to think that yung chen my auntie yung like why is my auntie so stingy like this my uncle is stingy like this the man one. But man yeah man I say auntie now can auntie man I realize why the auntie and the uncle were stingy. Jele right now I'm be stingy auntie come on. Auntie what first by the actually really the ticket you like need like if you are not in that someone's shoes or put a deal on the kin a blame the same way no matter what you can Loran can do so this lady who put this thing aja jaya deal why no yen anti de kwango len ge chole stinyon kono ka ji kan ka je ja we ne dora ne chi ko ni dun to yin ga yo but the fact remain that this problem mana ikiti to hari no be no njir man jam mo de mane chana ko le competition and hari chale hile mane la nyan nga de ji tia wara be ker ki di yo yo yindi cheni tia ge ge ben chu pa pe ku tia de ne pressure mane by the way wo ni rai ge yen pressure ko like I ran chin chi ko ba yen pressure akra deal but if someone who understand your life but it na ne yen piri jita ne che ran ni to bene nyin bi tia ke man le bina nga ni tum tia ke ne tia ya kwa chi nya de chi ba le beta but yen ne ro jen tin ra to je tin ra lo ya ke en ke chode kumin ga no lo to tin ne ko pressure ba ka wa yin nya nga de ra wa yile la yi mane ja yo yira yi nin chek mo chek de ne ko ja ta they tired of going stress they just to stress your life and they be like and I was going to you do it I look at your life in your community that you be assured they marry you with 7 5 guys and I think I like I most of your dinner people because okay if you go to Kampala you'll find that most of the people that are staying there um let me say this thing. I call you on the Galatia, you're a Galatia, man to on your so near the union where I know Tiganian ban. Piat Kalaku baby, then they come and they stay. So now if they see some judging up like some of like you calculate quite a human don't have got 5 or 2 cows. Okay, fine, is okay. There's no way manager could be in, but the fact remain married defend someone who's getting married to you. Though my community prioritize need berke because my him inya and barapet ko ile leaving the other guy like okay it I you hira jo ininde but the fact remain you have to accept yourself, accept how you are created, accept who you are, everything about you. Um, for me, I accept everything about me with my short height, my let me say with my small mouth, everything but I accept and I am contented with it and I'm real happy about how I am because this is me what I'm one child like me. Even if I have my child which I child like me, I achieve everything should portray and so you have to accept yourself and make sure that how the other people perceive you is not how you perceive yourself. Ma lama nina kwa dini a join che kwa dini mulo bin praja ga mile kanye yen cha cho cha you can at that time and you let it go. You mind your business. Okay, your business we mind la di for your peace of mind. Kule ke kudu leke. If they don't, then just let it go and do other things for yourself. So that's one way deal we push up with the past and how our community, let me say our parents know this know different mindset in our life too or even most of our parents are in their time in their lifetime are really pay rent. And most of them now are children will pay. But most of us pay rent, pay electricity, pay what but for them I think electricity. So can I got na be ni na chiki ni kilo business we mind playing talking yan can. Just make sure that you don't leave yourself out to please them because you will never please them. Because expectation talking toward you she can't really please like, no matter what. So when it comes to ourselves, and you just what I just know when you accept everything about yourself and your situation, everything, just move on and you have to do with what is there. Kutokana ni financial issues in the present, you accept and you have to customize them the way you have. And really, could be very really happy. And you leave what they saying at there, join at there, you live happen. If you are out there, while you think about where being about my sister. Abaga where be okay, and within 1 year they will be done. Your life, I believe, move on for some time. So sometimes consider yourself and consider them. Not like a big lawyer, and you remain with your life. So kaya buga man where you will. You have to prioritize your life first. Ben like like talk be ala mit ko. When I time and to kuli ka che chan be where be. It can a period na lo live na PW push. So though our parent they are kick le work man yin get PD yin get do what you can manage it be rest. And the fact remain that kakaran baga ja chu burto la de la arre jaret. So kaku adila da pabaga prioritize because you may be left out and everything you did for them like but don't get empty for your life and buy stress up and then so that like I think I know they expect too much but just have to live reality you can expect a change when you think and just leave how they talk there's a time big reach big understand or brand below in your shoes will be understand what at all and our life in our generation of I can give kaji you can lo mana chi ke lo parre chan be did and so we very hard but you have to just do kuwen lo ku wan kichi lo ya prioritize yourself yana
Thank you, Adich. I really like your advice. I feel like it was meant for me, and I will do my best to accept myself. But for sure, short women matter. Like it's true, we have been perceived. South Sudanese are tall people, but that's not the case. There's about 54 tribes. Some are short, some are tall. Even the tall tribes, there are short people, and it may seem like it's a joke, but actually it does affect you at some level. Like your self esteem, it will chip away slowly when people point out things you don't like about yourself or things they think is not great. I personally think you're beautiful. You have a great personality. Like Intinyecha, face cut doesn't decline. I love your hair. Um, and the right person will pay 300 cows. Like no problem. Like no problem. They will pay 300 cow. Yes. Abraham Gokanin, let them come
even
to me.
how
I will
like
tell them 300 or
even
nothing.
that has nothing to do with your life
Yeah. We time is gone. I don't know if you two are okay going a few more minutes, but Rhoda, if there are comments out there, please read them. Ira and Kindalbernia, we're talking about mental health for newcomers, and newcomers, South Sudanese, experiencing displacement to different places across the world, really. And if you've experienced displacement, you have gone through a traumatic experience, and that mental health issue is not usually talked about and it's frowned upon. And this is the space. Holding space is the first step to acknowledging there's a problem and it needs to be solved. So, Rhoda, go ahead and read the comments and let me know if we have space for one more question.
Absolutely, absolutely. Before I read comment, not and Panjin there, there's a question embedded in it. And one of call well kere ne chadi well kere comparison nyir check and nyir, but I take it personal because I'm checking and I'm very short. Yo online there you know what I did. And one of I jamarit well yeah why jamarit because you know why they ignore even if you look at even globally I check the South Sudanese at all. Quite check I had dictators because once you get power you have been very ignoring you use it to the maximum. So when Kocha are dictators, because I think Banya Pinam ka government, so there is advantage, height advantage, because you have that imposing personality, people respect you, you're present, I notice. But it's why Marco to watch again, don't you? And so sometimes you have to shout more finger. And it's very important. And I know in on Kakuma, I like can you check because you can who's a dog, you're on check, go on, I'm there, quite you remember because you already have all advantage, you relax. Okay, and below you whatever of course, life was good for them because I know but you don't need You don't need grade, you know. You people love you no matter what. So that thing at all, it's all beauty privileges, it's all pretty privileges or beauty premium. Even in business world where I am, even a teenager, you need die higher even for no reason, but if you qualification, you sell your beauty. And that's why there is beauty industry. So we don't ignore that, but they are part of mental health discussion, and I like we bring it this because we are talking about mental health. There are so many things that affect our mental health. Sometimes some things that are not even our own making. That is not the very, very important thing. You didn't choose this thing check. And you now be mental health on what ground now? Like I cannot stress because I'm you know, now so what? Right? This is something that God chose me to be. So there's something what you know that we don't even have power over it. They just happen and they happen sometimes we just have to accept these are realities and move on. The thing that could be why I affect mentally and that we need help, I think that we can control. And this is one of them. Human question, children, uh, girls, I like watch all ladies. So, what are your thoughts on parents forcing their children to study their favorite courses or go to prestigious school, right? Or courses that or school ben or being or like parents like forcing their wishes on their children. That question, but Maria can another comment. Many people now of our parent generation are alcoholic. Is it something related to mental health issues? I wanted to respond to that. And I would say absolutely. My thought on that is parents forcing their children to do what they want a parent and not what their children is capable of, what the environment, what is what what makes sense at the time. When I talk about doing a course that either you are passionate about, but passion doesn't pay bill. You also need to do course that is relevant because you can't do something, you can't study dinosaur when you know you will not get a job related to dinosaur in this world economy, right? You have to do something that are relevant. And so, personally, I said no. Like they contribute to mental health to young people when their parents are the one now, making decisions for them. That is overstepping and controlling, right? We don't need that. Many people now like na can parent who can like the parent who now become another stress level. Kwani ye mon jar yer kan ke ga mon duito. Or anything do. You choose your own wife. Yen ka bila yen head on your own. The parent ko won ben do ro ku do. On what ground? Like I remember there's this parent who will let na lo na mo ni kan ne ro. Ye ra ja na kan o ye mo inde. Can when the law on what or law yen everything happen. Now it's my time. I have to do what I want. If it natural, fuck up now, I learn, right? You can advise me, but you cannot force me to do things. So in Caleb, on that, the thing that our parents put us through challenges or our guardian. Sometimes some of us, I think parents can because of war. So we have our guardian or our, adopted, step parents that are taking care of us, and sometimes their expectation are too heavy for us to shoulder, and they contribute to mental health challenges. Those things like you talk in a parent or in a guardian or in a mentor, don't project your expectation. You wish back a lot. Don't project. You can guide person, but don't make it an expectation that they have to meet. Otherwise, something happen. Those consequences we don't want to hear. And of course, to answer, of course, this alcohol is widespread. Alcohol didn't culturally. My mom told me on there, pan young on there, working, and they again the more like me a social thing, a culture, right? Even tap nira can go with a culture. Even road big log go kalega lueta nira yen tap. It was something that is done socially. But Colorado man ke jalo brown one all brown barway is stress. And this stress now talk sometimes we judge people, then we end up alienating them but further, right? It's good that now you run get you know today and cannot in any escape for them. We give them support system and let them discover that they can deal with this in ways that they think will for them, not us to go and force them to stop because we don't know who already. So sometimes we don't know the root cause. We just have to be a support system. If someone in have discovered and could recover fine, if not actually recover maybe and get designated, then we have to be a buffer for them, a support system, a shoulder. Ben keka bento, not someone ben keka to do them more because sometimes people want to recover and then they come and see you judge them again. I'm when people do wrong then while where they don't even understand you. And so that is what I would say. Alakira, I have no time for another last question. I will give it to Adish before Ben walk it here. There, if other people no question can tell the back it now and I'll book it answer just one last question.
Yeah,
Mm,
go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. Okay, Akwal, can you repeat it, sir? Akwal, like,
Yes. So
just better question is for.
question in the answer is about there are two comments. One of them is that parents projecting their wish for courses. Man, in Dorcas, maybe your parent when you buy a software engineer, but if you want to be something else. Now you are given that is a stress at you. I should also make a comment. No, can you tell me how a big deal in our community? Is it part of coping with mental health? And I also say yes. So those are the two areas that needed comment.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I take a Tolman and okay. Most of the parents nowadays do. Tumane, ngano group kayo lo yen and then because we saw kwa ken kay lo. Ja kuya janyi bi man ke lo de. So that's why you were everything down in me kwe. But tuman okay, when come to career community, there are a lot of things. Brigade community during this time. But the doctor, by lawyer, by engineer, I can chika you come chika but success is different in other ways. There are very many lawyers now. Kwa check benefit there we find out. So some when we talk about that, we just have to relate it with passion. So when that's where most of the parent men know ya ko brand everything man yung ye lo ye ke di nye chi ye me mor wo so apel no ma alu ne ka lo ye chi no nguben so that ba nga in kare nye kana lo like you push them to that side what they can do well. I came across a short video about a certain lady singer, one of the best singers in the world out there. And Chiren Gabriel, when you were young, how did you realize you can sing and you're a good singer? Gojalo, one of my nursery teachers, because me nursery I get job dear, big cheap. So she used to start it very fast. Okay, there. The good thing Gojalo, we push up to the time we getting a deal wearing. Gojala in have you ever met her scene that time? Golo no, can you go? Do you want to see her? Golo yes. Again, I think it was something that was set up and waiting to Ben and the lady was allowed to see her. So okay, ever had from a parent because mina chila la yung men nga di to kwa chi lu kin NGO ye to kuli inde even they may take you ni yik sukuli yen ga lo yin ga chin lu ya maybe nge men nga di ware nya ite mi yin ben a yiran gare ko nga ben one che yin we kala ko lu bi gen ben so okay ben I think I don't really care. You have to just handle them and let them go because they cannot understand it on turn on tell peer man on tell it duru kan yi ga bitaw ko yi sel wale ci man ana ci non pieden ci yen ko le yimbe bi yen kwa nyi ya wat ci senen el cenen ne yi akor ba yen na kan yo ga miskla cenen dun jabe be da kan di bu dana ja yo ka lo na kan yo ga ja live your life ban che ke lam de lo ndi ko okay when man cin krim ya cin ci krim ya yes I think I stress ade ke ko lo ya ci man yi lo ka duru nyaai kon ye day for that short time ci man I think yin ci no mu ku ngai wari ni kwa tu ne to wa to kan no mu Gia ka bin bi en drup chan achi ko ta ke chin de mi chan chi ke ta ke ke ko ji ki ta de mi har ta ni become addicted mi de lui addiction de like chin mana ja chok mane ba chok le yin do ko chin So they come like that when you take too much alcohol. Well, it results from stress, competition. When you live, you compare, and all those things. Life, I think that when you compete, me, I know be lively, be chatting, and that's all. So that's what I can say.
Thank you both. I think I will just speak a little bit to those two things and then close. For anyone who has taken their time to come listen today, thank you very much for taking the time to learn a little bit more about mental health, taking the time to learn strategies to take by yourself to manage your mental health. First thing after this call, and you know there's something has been bothering you, take a pen and paper. If you know how to write, go garping. If you don't know how to write, naning telephone, just record, talk about it. Maybe that is one step that's gonna help you. If you know someone dealing with mental health issues, the first thing is to hold space for them. Like reach out to them. Be persistent. They might not respond to you, but keep trying. That they know there is someone out there that wants to help them, want to be there for them. That way, eventually, when they're ready to talk, baby. The complete isolation and feeling like there's a chiran, nobody even cares whether you live or not live, is the worst place people can go to. And before somebody get there, you have an opportunity to help them. It doesn't have to to be a lot, and it doesn't have to be money. Na ye mithia dangai nang stress. If the children are not doing well in school, sit down and talk to them. What exactly is bothering them? And you might be surprised to find that the problem is something you can solve. Always blaming midnight oh a champion do oh a yella is not helping. Like pra blame or blue threaten nanchi school fees could be chat pay na can school is not going to solve the problem. You need to get to the root of it. Ale benke alcohol and substance use, addiction. Ranchula to addiction, you cannot tell them to just stop drinking. Like that is not gonna help them. These people already know they have a drinking problem. They already struggle with self-esteem issues that they know people don't like them because I dick me out. They know people don't want to associate with them because they have a alcohol problem. They already feel isolated from the rest of the society. So the best thing you can do is encourage them to eat food. Meow, but they with empty stomach is going to ruin their internal organs. Provide them some food. If somebody's giving care non cake, you will remind tarke breakfast before they go out and eat and drink meow on an empty stomach. That way, a chaka coin, you're contributing to their health. Kayin cake substance use actually beyond their control. I don't think they know how to stop. It's actually automatic in their system. You dengue meow, you matters, sijara, you mo. Every little inconvenience, ben nyal, koiga actually respond to stress by suppressing it, and they're using that substance to suppress it. And that's why na chira and chi in space, na chira and chi in till we listen to your story, chief experience go low validate, then you get isolated and you start using substances. So before it gets there, you space you create for your friends, for your parents, uncles, aunties, they are dealing with mental health issues. They don't know how to articulate it. They don't know how to talk about it. They don't have support in their own system. And we, as young people who understand these mental health issues, can actually help them. And that's by listening. Yo ran kuchacha no. Let them talk. Are you ran catch a band on social media and is dancing? Mind your business. You don't know what they're going through. Ajirani, you out of nowhere and they're mad at you, it's nothing to do with you. Most likely, an can lay and get through. And that is the way outlet chiki you will lash out onto you. Is that is their outlet to express themselves. Let them express themselves. But first thought, Nigeria relationship between you and someone is not that what have I done wrong? No, is let me listen through this. It might be helping them because an can like it get through and it's going to help them. Walking into those questions, but the other question I was going to ask is about finding community. When people find themselves isolated, they need to find community to relate in. And find a community look like you or koi who are going through the same thing. We as women in Canada, I just want to take opportunity to raise awareness. And we in advocacy for housing and homelessness a big issue in Canada. I'm just gonna read some statistic and leave you guys to think about it. Those who are listening, backing it that problems are kenikawan, ato thin. And if you want to do something, you can do it to engage, find community thin. That way it's you are grounded in reality. Kaloirot, not have realities ekaping, exaggerate or anything. And this is the campaign we're doing. So I'm just gonna read the statistic. It says close to 10,000 women and girls in Canada experience homelessness on any given day. 1,000 women and their children are turned away from violence against women shelter on an average day. Most of these women, their children, return to situation of violence and precarity because they have no other option. Intimate partner violence in Canada is on the rise. Nearly 44% of women report experiencing intimate partner violence at some point since the age of 15. 90% of families using emergency shelter are headed by a single woman. 33% of gender diverse people in Canada, women and gender diverse people, we talk to them together. It might not make sense to you, but if you're in this part of the world, might make sense. So 33% of gender diverse people report experiencing discrimination from their landlord or property manager on the basis of gender. And each year, hundreds of Canadian women give birth while living on the street or in shelters. About 50% of young homeless women become pregnant often within the first year of becoming homeless. Women are more likely to rely on precarious or sometimes dangerous support such as sleeping on couch or trading sex for housing. And then studies of homelessness fail to count women fleeing gender-based violence and women trapped in situation of sex trafficking. So this is reality on the ground to tell within Mishkalaya Kinukawa Chin, and please find community. They are not just from our own background, they are in general are struggling. And holding that space, like Akwal who did a gathering and they talk in a circle with other women, is a one step of helping and contributing and giving to the Canadian society. So, Abaja Politan, shukran for your day, shukran for your time. Please share this message. It could help someone pull them from going over the edge with their mental health issues. So, share it with them. Have that conversation about mental health with your friends. Check in with them regularly. Check in with them even if they're not responding. Check in with them even if they are saying there's no problem, they're just busy. It might not be the case. That's what I will leave you with. And thank you for tuning into the U-Turn. See you again next Saturday, same time. Bye.